I have one, my favorite clip of the day, besides George Pickens saying, I'm not going to be a distraction, I'm not holding out.
Just like that, too. I'm not going to be a distraction.
Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer on how much louder it is this year compared to last.
Day one. I mean, it started day one, and I think you see it. It's verbal, it's nonverbal, but the emphasis when you sit in the meetings, it's like last year I felt like we didn't do a great job in meetings, even talking. I know I talked about that, but it wasn't to the standard that I think it should be or that it is now. You walk into a meeting and you probably need earmuffs because, I mean, literally these guys are hollering calls, closed calls, rip lids, whatever the calls are, and when there's motions and change of strength, it flips a lot of things, and you hear them all talking, and really at all three levels. I think the other thing I'll say is that our defensive line is communicating differently than most defenses I've been around with their anticipation of what runs are coming, protection are coming based on formation sets and things like that. And I think that's got to do with, number one, how it's emphasized in every room, not just with the linebackers or safeties, but also the experience that we have with our defensive line.
It's all very encouraging because the whole lead up to that answer was all about the communication problems they've had. And that's been the thing that everybody keeps underlining. Like, oh, the defense is loud. Like, they're all talking. They're communicating. Like, this is actually, like, information is flowing now in a way that when you hear it described, it's like, okay, why was it so impossible last year?
Yeah.
Like, was that defiance of the coaching staff? Was that the coaching staff being negligent? What was happening that it was that bad that it's so noticeable just to hear them, like, making calls?
You know, guys, you'll learn this with Trajan Wealth as you get educated on different financial terms. And there's a term in the stock market called oversold. Oversold. Oversold in the stock market. And I am officially, and I know this, I'm aware of it, I'm oversold on the Dallas Cowboys. My expectations have runneth over.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone.
Yeah, it can be Christian Parker with regular old coaching. I sent the Christian Parker wired up, mic'd up segment to my buddy who coaches, and I'm like, tell me what you see, like technique and communication. This guy's supposed to be the next, and he's like, nothing special. And he's like, nothing special in this. Just regular old teachings. You know, it's not Belichick that you're sending me over here. And here I am getting excited about that. And then getting excited that the Dallas Cowboys are communicating a lot in their meetings and on their defensive line. I know that I've set myself up for emotional letdown. But right now it's just way too fun to get overhyped about it at this point in the offseason. And Brian Schottenheimer, yesterday, he stressed it. I think he used the word awesome 3 times when he goes, this has just been an awesome offseason. It made me think, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to cut Shotty much of a break if things don't go right this year, even though the argument is there for them to have an above-average season. But Schottenheimer seems giddy, and I think he's genuinely giddy about the hires, about the additions, and about the work. And I'm infected.
Yeah, it's difficult to...
Maybe I could get with Radikowski with chlamydia, infected with that.
It's difficult to... It's going to be difficult, to probably cut him any slack, because not only where he's talking about expectations, but clearly how much this is his right now. Like, how much this has, like, become his program or whatever. Like, he got the Parker hire. He got the Clayton Adams hire. He has had such a big voice in so many different ways, and it's increasing. I don't know if that's the Joneses giving him more or that's him realizing more what he can have a say in, and he's exercising it. There will be people with over there in Frisco will tell you that one of Mike's biggest problems that he ran into was he never understood how much influence he had if he would have just used it. Like that, he felt like, man, I'm isolated over here at times, or they're making decisions. It's like, if you will, it's just a matter of just going and claiming it. If you claim it, they'll let you have it. You just got to go claim it. And I think that's something that has taken Shotty a little time initially, was realizing how much power there was that he could claim, how much influence he could claim. And now he's really staked his claim to it, and he looks completely comfortable and in control, and it's set up the way that he wants. So if it goes poorly, that is a reflection on him that he's going to have to carry. All right, so do you want to go Jaden Blue expectations follow-up or league trends on offense?
Trends.
Okay, so there has been this explosion lately of everybody talking about 13 personnel. That is 1 back, 3 tight ends, and the Rams used it a ton.
That sounds boring.
You'll hear Shotty explain it here in a sec, but the usage of 13 personnel has shot up across the league. Meanwhile, the Cowboys didn't use much of it at all last year. They were one of the teams that used it the least. So when you start seeing a trend that's really taken over the NFL, and then your team isn't participating in that, in fact, your team is really excelling at 11 personnel like we talked about recently from the Matt Bowen article, which is 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers, then it makes you start thinking, okay, is that just you can't play that style or you're not a fan of it? What's the deal? So Shotty was asked specifically to kind of flesh out that trend across the NFL, the 13 personnel, and whether they don't play as much of it because they just don't have the personnel to do it.
I think we're always going to try to play our best players. I love our tight end room. I think the reason teams are doing is it tries to simplify. If you talk to most defensive coaches, they don't have more than 2 or 3 calls that they probably use in 13 or 22 personnel. So it does simplify their hand more than maybe 12 and 11 and things like that. But it's also, you can do so many things out of it because you can spread them out in 13 against base defense and maybe find a matchup with a pass receiving tight end or a back or someone that can expose a matchup. But you also can get in close quarters and pound the football. And so we did a lot of that in the red zone last year. Maybe not as much out in the field, but we also think that there's still a lot to getting our weapons and our speed on the field, and but the more that Scooney and Brev and Jake and these guys continue to grow, and Hunter Lepke. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Hunter. I mean, we have those, but you have to decide who you want to put on the bench.
Yeah, Hunter Lepke. If I can't, we were talking about that last week. They love invoking that name. It's a coach's way. I feel like invoking the fullback is the coach's way of being like, see, I'm a football guy. I do football stuff.
I think you hate fullbacks.
I think I do. I really do. I don't think they should exist anymore.
Oh, really?
I mean, they can exist as people, just not as a position.
Can't wait
in the
for
NFL.
Moose.
Did you hate Mike Alstott?
Yeah.
Really?
I hated that. Like, that's why I can't stand Cam Scatterbo. He's like a bad fullback. That's about how he runs. But listening to him there, I think that's encouraging. So you remember that tense exchange that occurred on I think it would have been G-Bag at the time, but it was Bassick.
What's it called now?
Kind of press it. Well, because I was thinking KNC,
Oh.
and it was when Bassick was on G-Bag. So he was pressing Jerry a little bit on that whole, like, why don't you have coaches like Sean McVay that are doing all this forward-thinking stuff? And Jerry snapped on him. And that forward-thinking stuff at the time was the 11 personnel that the Cowboys are all really devoted to right now. And now it's kind of trending towards 13. So I know if people see that and start going, well, why aren't you following McVay? Why aren't you following like some of these other things that are going on? It's easy perhaps for fans to look at it and go, man, are we following behind the times, or does he understand it and just doesn't think that's right for this team? And I think when you listen to him explain it there, he fleshes out exactly for you. He understands 13 personnel. He knows the advantages of it. It's not like just a blind spot for him where he's being a dinosaur. He gets it, and it's just, what do you want? You want us to put CD or Pickens on the bench consistently? Like, we have weapons. We're not going to swap Schoonmaker in and Lipke in for George Pickens a lot. That's just not going to happen for us. Other football teams, maybe they don't have the depth that we have at receiver. Maybe they've got really good depth at tight end, or they got some athletic tight ends. Fine for them, not fine for us. With that note, when we had talked about the 11 personnel, we were talking about the importance of Ryan Flournoy like growing into the role more of third receiver and kind of being given an opportunity to flourish within the system. So Shotty was asked specifically, cut 5 here, Peyton, how has Ryan Flournoy worked this season, and what ways have you seen him continue to grow?
just doing incredible. You guys saw it last year, I think 200-yard games. You saw him really, just do it on a consistent basis. It's not surprising. He'll be the first one on the practice field. He'll be the last one to leave. Anytime Dak wants to throw, he'll be out there, making himself available. I think that's huge. I think that's part of that me to you factor that's so important when you're talking about quarterback receiver timing and discipline and things like that. He earned it the right way. He earned it through special teams, earned it by doing the run blocking, doing the things in the run game, the dirty work, if you will. And now he's one of those guys that just, because he does everything right, Dak doesn't hesitate when he looks at him. He just turns it loose, throws it to a spot, and he's rewarded us with very, very big-time performances.
Who's the last three to, long-term stick here?
Gallup, probably, who was a 3 who morphed into the 2. And Gallup stuck around here for a while. But outside of that, Beasley.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just want Ryan Flournoy to be that next guy.
He will. So that was one of the things is that when I believe they eventually walk away from George Pickens, as good as he did yesterday, when they eventually walk away from that, I don't think they go out and acquire their next number 2. I think it's just Flournoy. I think they're grooming him to step up and be the number 2 next to CD.
Whoa.
And so they are really impressed with his work ethic, his mental toughness, the type of student that he is, and they're seeing the growth that comes with somebody who works the way he does, and so they think there's still more to tap into.